Today's show is sponsored by the Electric Vehicle Association. Join up to support the electrification of transport and get the help you need to finance your own EV or clean energy future. And by the 8th annual Chicago Chesed Fund Tesla raffle. Head to the link below and use the code TRANSPORTEVOLVED to get $25 off 2 tickets. The draw takes place on Labor Day, so time's running out. And by Fully Charged Live USA. Come down to San Diego on September 10th and 11th to take part in the live extravaganza of EV Fun. Get 15% off your tickets for this year's show by following the link below and using TE22 at checkout. With panels galore and loads of things to look at and do, it's the best way to start off your autumn. We'll be there, will you? Welcome back to TEN or Transport Evolved News. Thanks for tuning in and for clicking that subscribe bell. We loved all the positive feedback from last week's very tight running show, so we're going to try for the same this week. It was 2017 when Faraday Future first unveiled its FF91 electric SUV at CES, and since then we've watched huge amounts of drama as it's tried to bring that car to market. The company has pushed back deliveries more times than we can remember and has been at the centre of several financial crises and scandals. Its reverse merger last year is currently being investigated by the US Department of Justice and the US Securities and Exchanges Commission due to several instances of inaccurate statements. And this week, we learned that the company has made a new regulatory filing stating it's pushing back initial deliveries to, quote, the third or fourth quarter of 2022. The filing explains the company needs to raise more capital to survive. We remain doubtful if we're actually going to see any production cars. The week after Tesla published its Q2 earnings, a number of rival companies have posted theirs. This includes GM, whose second quarter saw a 40% year-over-year cut in profits. Achieving an adjusted profit of $1.14 per share, GM's disappointing quarter was blamed on ongoing supply chain issues and COVID-19 shutdowns that took place in China during the second quarter. But GM also reported its autonomous vehicle subsidiary, Cruise, lost $500 million in the quarter. Despite now charging for rides in San Francisco, Cruise has lost GM nearly $5 billion since 2018, reiterating that GM's future lies with electric vehicles, even though GM's timing for the launch of upcoming electric vehicles remains quote-unquote fluid. GM's Mary Barra said that GM's top priority for this year is getting new battery production facilities online and making cells. A short distance away, GM's rival Ford posted its quarterly profits too, showing a rebounding from its terrible first quarter figures. All in all, the company reported slightly more second quarter revenue than GM, $42.2 billion versus $35.76 billion for GM, with an adjusted earnings per share of 68 cents. That's less than GM or Tesla, but a major improvement on Ford's $3.1 billion net loss in Q1, primarily due to a massive loss in valuation of its stake in Rivian. Reporting that Ford's recent restructuring is now complete, company CEO Jim Farley says that Ford is on track to produce 14,000 EVs globally this month and is on track with its goal of producing 600,000 EVs in the next 12 months. That said, Ford warned supply chain issues and inflation could hurt its Q3 earnings. Sono Motors has officially unveiled its production design for the Sion solar electric car, a vehicle that it says will enter contract production in the second half of next year. With some significant spec upgrades over prototype variants, the production Sion now features a 54 kilowatt-hour lithium iron phosphate battery with a claimed 305-kilometer, 189-mile range. There's 75 kilowatt DC quick charging capabilities and an onboard 11 kilowatt bidirectional AC charger. But what's particularly interesting is the 456 solar half cells embedded on the body of the Sion. Sono Motors says that will extend the range of the car by an average of 112 kilometers, 70 miles per week. Sadly, the price has now increased to €20,900 from €21,500. Rivian has announced that it will be laying off 6% of its workforce in order to help the company focus on ramping up production of the R1T and R1S. Like Tesla's continuing layoffs, Rivian CEO RJ Scaringe blamed record inflation and rising interest rates for the layoffs, and in an internal email sent to employees apologized profusely for them. Stating that Rivian is well positioned to execute on its strategy, Scaringe explained that Rivian needs to focus on sustainable growth and simplification of its product roadmap. Unlike Tesla, which has been trying to get employees to sign severance agreements that were less than required under law, Rivian is giving its laid-off staff 14 weeks of regular pay, as well as health coverage, COBRA benefits, mental health and fertility benefits through to the end of this year, not to mention job placement and equity vesting for this quarter. Several hundred employees will be affected by these layoffs. Volkswagen has officially started series North American production of its ID.4 electric SUV at its facility in Chattanooga, Tennessee. While the facility has been carrying out pre-production runs now for several weeks, it's now switched to customers' vehicles, with Volkswagen expected to ramp up production volumes on the line to 7,000 vehicles per month by the end of this year. As we detailed last week, North American ID.4 models will offer a choice of rear or all-wheel drive with an 82 kilowatt-hour battery pack at launch. A new lower-cost model with a 62 kilowatt-hour battery pack will join the production line later this year, something Volkswagen has confirmed will command a lower MSRP, but hasn't exactly detailed what that will be. Chattanooga-made ID.4 cars will feature predominantly North American-sourced parts. BMW has issued 2 different recalls this week, affecting the BMW iX and i4, with one of the 2 recalls resulting in a warning to customers not to drive or charge their cars. The first recall, affecting 6,930 iX and i4 variants, revolves around a software glitch that can prevent certain critical information from being displayed on the car's infotainment screens when in valet mode. Affected cars can still be driven, but the second, smaller recall, involving 56 iX and 27 i4, has resulted in BMW telling affected customers not to drive or even charge their cars. The problem stems from an irregularity during battery manufacturing, which supplier Samsung SDI says caused a cathode piece to break off within the cell, causing potential short circuit in affected batteries, something that's eerily similar to the Bolt EV and Kona EV battery fires. To check if your car is involved, contact BMW service in North America at 1-800-525-7417. In recent years, police forces around the world have switched at least some of their fleet to electric, with everything from Teslas to Nissan Leafs getting verified for police use. The mainly rural Gloucestershire Constabulary in the UK has the nation's largest electric police fleet, with 21% of its fleet now all electric. But this week, the Police and Crime Commissioner for Gloucestershire, Chris Nelson, said that the force is cautious of adding more electric vehicles to the fleet due to the performance of the Nissan Leafs and Nissan ENV200s currently serving there, or rather officers' reactions to them. Range anxiety and charging concerns were listed as primary worries, but we'd argue the vehicles chosen aren't perhaps the best choices for a modern police force, and that there are more alternatives on the market today. Oh, and thanks to Fully Charged for letting us use their footage of the fleet for this story. Ahead of launching the 2024 Prologue EV, Honda has released a new video showcasing how the vehicle was designed. Underpinned by GM's Ultium platform, made available to Honda through a mutual agreement, the Honda Prologue design team heavily relied on virtual reality to design the car's exterior and interior, allowing it to rapidly prototype and change vehicle features on the fly in the virtual world before settling on a design that could progress to the physical one. In addition to saving a lot of time and money on the design process, using VR allowed Honda to utilize teams from Japan and the US to more efficiently collaborate, especially in a world where travel is still sometimes challenging. The car will officially launch for the 2024 model year. There's been significant gridlock on Capitol Hill for what seems like an eternity on the matter of federal tax credits for EVs. Under current legislation, Tesla, GM and most recently Toyota have sold more than 250,000 plug-in vehicles, meaning that their customers no longer qualify for a full federal tax credit for buying one. But now a breakthrough in the Senate means that removing the federal tax credit $250,000 limit on EV incentives and instigating a new $4,000 federal tax credit on used EVs could now become law. Previously, legislation had been held ransom by Democratic Senator Joe Manchin, but supposedly a deal has been struck on the Senate Climate and Deficit Reduction Package that could see it pass by the Senate. We don't have time to cover everything here, but let us know if you'd like a special video on this subject. Short shorts are on their way, but first, how would you like to win a Tesla of your choice or $50,000 in cash? Well, make sure you pay attention because I'm about to tell you about the 8th annual Tesla raffle from the Chicago Chesed Fund. The Chicago Chesed Fund is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping families in crisis and has hundreds of programs and services in operation. In a world where COVID-19 is still trying to make its presence felt, this Chicago-based charity has been helping people stay safe, fed, employed and healthy. We've been promoting the raffle for many years on the channel and we are super excited to be taking part again. So to find out more about the programme or to buy tickets, head to ccfraffle.com and you can get 2 tickets for $175 by using the promo code TransportEvolved at checkout. There's a total of 9,999 tickets available and the draw takes place on Labor Day, so time is running out to both support this great organisation and for you to grab your tickets. And now, it's time for Short Shorts. Ford has unveiled a special edition of the F-150 Lightning electric pickup truck for emergency service use. Called the F-150 Lightning Pro SSV, it's designed primarily for police forces and features special seats, a rugged centre console, steel intrusion plates and Ninos. Lightyear has announced a new partnership with Swedish supercar company Koenigsegg that will see the former work with the latter on technology sharing surrounding EVs and EV drivetrains. Koenigsegg has also made an undisclosed financial investment into Lightyear. The US Department of Energy has signed off on new $2.5 billion loans to General Motors under its Advanced Technology Vehicles Manufacturing Program, the first new loan, in fact, through the program since 2010. GM will use the funds to build battery cell production facilities. Tesla has officially ended its unlimited standard connectivity package for new vehicles. Now it will offer 8 years of standard connectivity with all Teslas, but after that point, customers will be expected to pay to keep their cars connected to use the service. VinFast has announced that in addition to bringing 2 new electric cars to market in North America, it wants to bring its range of electric scooters there as well. Already popular in its home market of Vietnam, the Vespa-style scooters would be built for the US in North Carolina. Tesla has officially expanded its Tesla insurance products to 2 new states, Utah and Maryland. This now brings the number of states where Tesla's customers can use the real-time data-driven insurance program to 10. 11 if you include California's not live data variant. Oregon Electric trike specialist Arcimoto has unveiled the 4th generation prototype of its mean lean machine e-trike. First revealed back in February, the leaning electric trike is expected to go into production in the near future and will be offered in a variety of different guises. Volkswagen Group China has unveiled an all-new electric vertical takeoff and landing passenger drone prototype called the VMO. Volkswagen says it aims to conduct advanced test flights by the end of the summer next year, with goals to bring it to production in the future. Data released by the US National Highway Traffic Safety Administration shows that both Ford and GM have sought permission to operate vehicles on the public highway without traditional controls. They would both be part of ride-sharing and delivery fleets, not privately owned cars. After successfully completing more than 70,000 kilometres, 43,500 miles of successful testing, the Mercedes-Benz e-Actros heavy-duty truck will begin testing in the Black Forest in Germany with trailers of up to 40 metric tons of gross total weight. After a short pause in production to adjust the production line, Tesla's Giga Berlin has resumed and, according to reports from the factory, is now producing more colour choices of Model Y than just the black and white models it was churning out previously. 17 regional governments in North America, including the District of Columbia and the Canadian province of Quebec, have signed a pledge to electrify 30% of new trucks and buses in their jurisdictions by 2030, with a goal of 100% zero emissions by 2050. With production now resumed at Giga Berlin and new paint choices coming off the line, rumours suggest Tesla is now targeting a total production volume of 3,000 Model Ys per week at Giga Berlin by the end of October. It seems entirely plausible. Following on from last week's news that the US Department of Defense is in the process of testing Hummer EVs for use in the field, we've learned this week that Canoe's electric vehicles will also undergo testing with the US Army to assess their suitability as military vehicles. REE Automotive, working with Morgan Olson and EAVX, have unveiled an all-new walk-in step van concept called the Proxima. It's a vehicle capable of carrying up to 8,000 pounds, 3,630 kilos, and could be a great delivery vehicle. A team of former Tesla employees have launched a brand new company called Lightship RV. So new it doesn't even have any official press photos or video yet. Its goal is to develop a new travel trailer with built-in electric drivetrain to make towing an RV with an EV easier. A metalworking subsidiary of Hyundai called Smart Alabama LLC has allegedly been using underage immigrant labour at its metal stamping facility. Hyundai has issued an official statement saying that it does not tolerate illegal employment practices. We'll keep you posted. As part of its ongoing plan to ensure that it can execute on its goal of producing 1 million EVs in North America by the end of 2025, GM has signed 2 long-term supply agreements to secure both raw lithium and cathode materials it needs for all of those EV batteries. Consa DAR, working with Siemens, has announced a new proprietary plug-in adapter for allowing installation of EV charging stations without any modifications to home electrical panels. This could make installing an EV charging station in a rental a whole lot easier. Maybe. As part of its quarterly earnings call this week, General Motors confirmed that it has more than 150,000 reservations for the Silverado EV pickup truck. Like Ford, Tesla and Rivian, it needs those reservations to be converted to confirmed orders. Chinese automaker Dongfeng, which already produces the Spring EV for sale by Dacia in Europe, has unveiled its own version of the same vehicle. Called the Dongfeng Nanobox, it looks a little more grown up than the Dacia Spring with a nicer interior, but it will be Chinese market only. Baidu has been looking to get into the autonomous vehicle market for a while, and it's just unveiled what it says will be its first crack at that, an all-electric autonomous minivan called the Apollo RT6. Unlike other autonomous vehicles, this one has a detachable steering wheel. Daimler Trucks has officially opened a new charging plaza in Worth, Germany, in collaboration with a local charging provider specifically designed for rapid charging of electric trucks. The plaza has 6 different charging stations for electric big rigs, and it looks like it has a solar canopy too. Meanwhile, also in Worth, Germany, the Mercedes-Benz E-Econic electric truck has begun rolling off the production line. It's the second electric vehicle to roll off that line and has been designed to offer municipal fleets an all-electric base for things like refuse trucks. The Chinese market recall for the Porsche Taycan to rectify a problem with wiring routing for driver and front passenger seats have now been expanded to a global recall. In some cases, adjusting the seats could result in pulling cables out from underneath the seat. Infineon Technologies, working with Delta Electronics, has announced the development of a 3-in-1 power transfer solution that integrates solar energy storage and EV charging. It's essentially a vehicle-to-home hub, but it's limited to a maximum of 8.1 kilowatts maximum power transfer. Britishvolt has announced it's received additional funding from the UK government's Advanced Propulsion Centre's Automotive Transformation Fund to build its £3.8 billion sterling battery cell gigafactory in Northumberland, England. NIO has been promising us a solid-state battery for some time, and this week it confirmed that its promised 150 kilowatt-hour solid-state battery pack will enter into production towards the end of this year. It will be offered on the ES8, ES6 and ET7. At a special event in Stuttgart, Germany this week, Electrek was told that Mercedes-Benz hopes to have its Drive Pilot Level 3 autonomous vehicle system approved for use in North America soon. It hopes to have permission to offer it in California and Nevada next year. Just 1 decade ago, Porsche was vocally very distrustful of EVs, but now the company says it believes its future lies with all electric. Porsche executives recently detailed during a Capital Markets Day that the brand can make more money with EVs than it can with ICE. Graham Brown, designer of the TVR Tuscan convertible, has launched a new company called Northern Light Motors. It specialises in enclosed trikes with optional electric assist designed for city use. There's some question among aficionados as to if it's technically a velomobile or not, but I still want to have a go. And those are your short shorts. There will be more next week. It's well known that one of the biggest challenges to getting people dumping the pump and going electric is consumer education, and that means having dealership staff who know EVs. The simple solution might be just to ensure that dealerships and their salespeople actually get proper training. But this week, General Motors launched something a little different, EV Live. It's an online interactive platform for prospective EV customers that provides one-on-one instruction from an EV specialist. GM says prospective customers can schedule a free live tour with an EV specialist or view an on-demand live tour. Participants can hear and see the specialist, but the specialist can only hear prospective customers. In addition to answering questions about EVs in general, specialists can give more information on specific models. If you've signed up for one of these sessions, I would love to know how it went. And finally, as a brand, Mini has come a long way from its humble beginnings as a handful of models produced under the Morris badge, and according to its modern-day parent company BMW, is going all electric. We've already got the Mini Cooper SE EV, but this week, Mini unveiled a new concept car that it says previews its first production electric crossover. Called the Mini Aceman, not to be confused with its past concept, the Mini Paceman, the four-door crossover leans heavily into sustainability, but in a way that's more buzzword than practical. There's a knitted recycled textile interior, a minimalist dashboard, a steering wheel that looks like it's wearing a steering wheel cozy from the 1970s, and a glass roof with a Union flag motif. It is great to see more EVs coming to market, but let's have a drivable production one. Not another bizarre concept. Please? And on that note, we are done for the day. But before I go, I would like to thank the Electric Vehicle Association for sponsoring today's show. They've been advocating for electric vehicles since 1967 and firmly believe that our future depends on us making the switch to clean, green electric cars today. The EVA can help you find someone near to you that can help make that switch to electric. It can help you become an EV educator, and it can point you in the direction of monthly meetups for like-minded EV fans. And if you become a member, you'll gain access to a new clean energy and EV loan program set up between the EVA and the Colorado Clean Energy Credit Union. You can find out more by heading to electricauto.org. And of course, thanks again to the 8th Annual Chicago Chesed Fund Taza Raffle for sponsoring today's show. Head to the link below and use the code TRANSPORTEVOLVED to get $25 off 2 tickets. Don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell for this channel and our second channel, Transport Evolved Take 2. And if you're not already a channel member or a Patreon supporter, please do consider becoming one. Or you can send us a tip through Ko-fi or check out our cool swag store. And if you liked what you saw today, please consider adding a super thanks to your comment because it's easy to do and it all helps our channel grow. I'll be back this time next week for another news roundup, but as always, we will be making plenty of content for you to enjoy during the week. And if you like things off the beaten track, why not hop over to Transport Evolved Take 2 tomorrow for our Sunday musing? It's all about babies, and our brand new chicken and garden update, which now has its own video. Whatever you enjoy next, I hope your weekend is a great one, and as always, keep evolving.